Alright, so in the event that you need to change your cushions, these things right here, or need to replace your kingpin or replace your truck or do any like big maintenance on your skate, the first thing you have to do is make sure, so obviously the wheels are off. You don't need to make your wheels off, but it's helpful to take this thing off. You need to make sure that the set screw comes off. So you use a small Allen wrench and you rotate it counterclockwise, and that broke it loose right there. And this is here to prevent your whole truck from coming off if it backs off all the way. So it's hand tight, take it out. It's a relatively long screw. And then what you do is, if you can't undo this by hand, take your tool and you just rotate it counterclockwise. Then it becomes easy to take off. And then you have this cup right here. So see how the kingpin, this thing right here with the 3 little grooves, these grooves fit right in there. So when you're putting this cap on it, make sure that the grooves are in there. Sometimes these little grooves in this thing on this washer thing will break, and you'll need to get a new one, because then the click action adjustment system doesn't work. These things have to set in there so it can click when you use your adjustment tool. And then you see your cushion right here. It's kind of hard to get these cushions out, so the secret to getting the cushions out is just to rip the truck off, and it comes off with it. And here's the pivot pin, the pivot ball. There's the nylon pivot cup insert. Here's the partially exposed kingpin with the cushion left. So you're going to take this off, and somehow dirt gets in there. I don't know how, because it's locked down so much. You're just going to twist it, twist, twist, twist. Sometimes they're hard to get off. Okay, and you rip it out. Relatively large cushion. And there is the final thing on your kingpin. So it's important to know how to put this back together too. So if you need to take your kingpin out, get a wrench and you twist that as hard as you can. It's really hard to get these things out. So usually you want like a bench with a vise or something, because they're insanely difficult to come out. So anyway, when you're reassembling all of this, let's say you put your cushions back on. You put this thing down first. It needs to go all the way down. So shake it. All right, it's down. You take your cushion. Now this is specifically for the roll line plates and the roll line dance plate. Some of the roll line plates have different cushions, and they'll have different cushion sizes too. So this is the normal standard roll line low or upper cushion. This works for the roll line dance, the roll line energy, most of the higher end plates, but not for the roll line Evo or Matrix or DB12. But anyway, this will go in. This side, the conical side, kind of touches the side of this cup. That goes all the way down. Then you put your truck on. So you take your truck, you put this pivot ball into the pivot cup, and it sets nicely onto the cushion. Then you take your other cushion, and you can see that this cushion has a little bit different. It's a little bit different. You can see this side kind of slopes down, and this side is like cut out. So you're going to put the side that slopes down in first. If you're not sure, you can just kind of test it 2 different ways. Say, okay, does this look right? And you'll know if this sets on there correctly. So anyway, that's how you put it back on. Then you put your set screw on. But just make sure everything's going on nicely and nothing weird is happening. You'll probably know if you put it on wrong, because when you start skating, it's going to feel weird, or the pivot ball is going to not sit really well in this thing. But sometimes when you tighten down or loosen your action a lot, the pivot pin, which is this end of the truck right here, needs to be slightly adjusted in order to fit into the pivot cup without rattling around. And the way that you do that is you get a wrench, and there's a little attachment right there. See the little tiny little tiny flat spot there in the light. You're going to take your wrench and you can actually move this up or down. You can actually extend it. Don't worry about this part here. This is just to keep this attached. But you adjust this part of the pivot pin and it raises it up or down so that it can sit properly in the pivot cup insert. And then you do the same for all the other skates.